go, ladies and gentlemen. Thus concludes a page on pretty much just my favorite series. Like, I think it's without a doubt when I think and go back to this series, and when I had just a long deep think, and it's just like, man, there are so many rare chances that I have when just any piece of media hits me hard and grows into your system, where it's like either a part of like just your daily routine or a part of your weekly schedule, whether the fact that would be a game, a movie, anime, whatever kind of form of media that is. And Gintama has been one of those for a very long time. I think at this point it is insane to even think that I have been caught up to this series for almost 7.5 years now. Like, that baffles me that I caught up in 2011. And since then, and I didn't even think about it at that point, that I was at the halfway mark for this series, that I would still be to this point where like, I still like feel the same way about it, where it's like, this series is great, I can't wait for more, I can't wait for those chapters. And like, I even think of like just those early days when I was doing the YouTube shit as well, where I'm like, man, I just want to talk about this series. I just want, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just adding it on now, talking about some of these wacky ass chapters, and it's just like, there is just a sheer joy, and even watching it, even just talking about it, thinking about it, there's just this very integral, just joyous feeling of like, this is happiness. This is sheer, just joy. Now, I've spoken, or at least I have mentioned before, that I was going to talk about this series ending. I was going to, at some point, eventually do some kind of video about how much I love this series, how much that I have so much respect for the author, and I wanted to just talk about the ending. And it's more like, I wanted to talk about just Gintama as a whole as well. And that, again, like, this is going to be talking about the final chapter, but this is also just going to be talking about, like, again, I say in quote, like, it should say in quotation marks, final chapter, as we've had, this is our third, I guess we're now going to be entering our third final chapter, if we're thinking about Forever Yoriza, the final chapter, the final lesson as well in Weekly Shonen Jump, and then we'll be entering our third stage, which is the final lesson of Jump Giga. So, if you guys don't know the news, this is the last chapter of Gintama in Weekly Shonen Jump, 698, and I will just tell you the spoilers of the big reveal. I've already talked about it in a different video, but this is not the ending for the series, as it is only a way to Sorachi to continue the series a little bit longer, as he is not fully ready to say goodbye to this series, even with like the deadlines that he had. And I want to talk about it because, one, after I finished reading this chapter, there was just this huge smile on my face where it's just like, man, I fucking love this. Like, there's laughs, there's jokes, it's emotional, and it's like, again, it took me a little moment, and I just ended up just looking and staring at my ceiling. I stare at like I can just fucking show it to you guys as well, like something that a dear friend of mine got. Like, I have a big ass fucking like Gintoki Kagura and Shinpachi, like all goofing around like over there. Like, I adore that. Like, I fucking wake up in the morning to seeing these fucking goofballs on my screen. Like, I wake up to these the couple of English volumes that I have, the Shonen Jump issue that I bought of the series, of like one of my favorite moments in like the final arc, and just this fucking amazing cover of like Gintoki and the gang. And it's like, I think just about like how much I adore this series, the anime, just round about everything to it. And again, I think one of my favorite pieces is like I love a lot of arts on there, but I fucking felt a lot when I saw that like at least this cover page of just Gintoki, Kagura, Shinpachi all just looking towards the audience, everyone else moving forward, one last glance just to set like just go beyond like that. And it's just like these two like just the day that we meet again, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even read the chapter and I wasn't tearing up, but I was feeling it. I'm like, be a fucking man, Matt. Be a fucking man. Be a man about this final chapter. Just full on embrace Gintama for what it's doing. And again, you see the lovely, just like big, massive, just color page of just this final commemoration and all that is just like of everything that the series is. And what's even great is that the characters do that as well when they talk about this, where it's just like, you know, if you're going to become Yoriza, then, you know, at least do it like a way that can grant Gin's wish, and like we'll all become Yoriza in your stead, like, and do it like for you guys and all that. And it's like this, that was connected and all that all again. And you see like grown-ass versions of Kagura and Shinpachi just seeing every single life that they have touched like throughout their times of starting this out. They see Gintoki on screen at this point fighting like right there, and he's trying to like fulfill his wishes, like, and all that, his last deeds that he needs to finish off, everything he has to resolve with Shoyo, everything of his past, the last little bits of it still haunting him. He's going out there to resolve this. And you see just the old ladies just saying like, guys sure added a lot of employees since then. Like, maybe, you know, with all these people working together, maybe you can make his wish come true. No matter and all that, no matter what the Euros are and all that, it's like, you guys and all that, like, you know, like, you'll always be here for me. And like, she's just had that moment where she just lights the cigarette. Also as well, tell this from him. Tell him to pay the fucking rent already. Just like, you see this nice little moment of like baby Tama just giving like Shinpachi and all that stuff like a last little gift, and just everybody like Jirocho, his girl, like you, everyone, just one last fucking hoorah. Another just, we thought we had that last time. No, one more. And you see Kagura and Shinpachi come out, like, saying, like, we're Yoriza, we're family. Like, and one thing that's very nice is that, like, you see Kagura coming in more of the kind of, like, traditional gear. I really like that. Like, it's still, like, a little upgraded version of it, and he's like, you look at these guys where they were in these fucking first couple of volumes, like, you look at where, like, especially Shinpachi and Kagura were at this point. Fucking like, Shinpachi has fully become a man at this point. Kagura is a full grown-ass woman, like, at this point. Like, she's fully become, like, an adult in this way. Like, again, like, she, from where she was, like, what, 12, like, 14 at the start of the series, like, and now I'd say, like, what, she's like 16, 17, like, even still, like, she's like 16, 17, but it's just like, look at the maturity of her, and especially with just like the small little panels that you get, it's like, you look at like those goofballs that you saw at the start, where it's just like this weirdo fucking glass nerdy loser that like listens to some fucking his weeby songs, and you see this weird like gorilla Chinese girl just roaming around and like being a freak of nature, and then you're like, oh, look at what's happened since she's been with her Earth family. Look what's happened when he's, like, Shinpachi has looked up to Gintoki as, like, an older brother kind of figure. Like, he's looked to him as a mentor, as a friend, as, like, that replacement for his elder brother that he lost, like, and for his father as well. Like, many things that he kind of looked towards him. And one last time you got to see, like, all of them. Saritobi, Tsukio, like, Otose, like, all of them, like, going in there side by side, like, swiping down some of these Amanto pieces of shit. Like, all these guys that are obsessed with fucking, like, Utsuro and trying to become immortal. And it's just like, we gotta tell that guy to come home already, as everyone goes in and all that, like, they're waiting for us. Like, even Zenzo and Nobume are fucking there. Like, even, like, you know, Hime's there, like, trying to, like, encourage, like, I tell you, like, old ass, like, Shinsengumi man, like, there, like, on there. He's like, okay, we gotta pay you back, old man. Like, Kondo's there, like, swiping down, Hijikata, Sogo, like, you think about all of them, and it's just, like, about all those days and all that, and you, like, think about, like, what he's done and all that. It's, like, no matter what, and it's, like, even fucking Kagura's dad shows up, and even there's this nice little moment that you just get seen about Kamui looking the exact same way as, like, Kagura, with that whole, when she was telling Kana, like, all that little younger version of herself, and it's just like, she was being taught by Kamui all this time, like, kind of learning around, like, being teaching. It's like, huh, you look like, even, like, in that odd form, you were teaching us some weird stuff, weren't you? But I guess that's not that. It's like, you make yourself, you know, useful for once in a while. You gotta save your little sister. So, like, there was just this nice moment, and, like, even, like, the weird idol girl who's like, no, I'm actually gonna do this to, like, Shinpachi and everyone right now. And then it just turns out you have this fucking amazing, like, panel of Gintoki, my boy Takasugi, fucking Katsura. They're all there, the 3 students of Shoujo, having this great moment, all charging in, and then this fucking bitch is singing like a Princess Tennis song, and it's like, and even like Gintoki's just like that. It's like they're all having this emotional moment, and like Gintoki's just like, she's like singing like, oh man, Princess Tennis sure is good, and fucking Gintoki's like, no it fucking isn't, get out, what? This is the last chapter. Get this shit out of here. It's supposed to be about us and all that. It's like, and why in the fucking blue are we singing Prince of Tennis? Come on, page after page. Come on. And it's like, and even Katsura is just like, we don't have enough pages left. We're running out of pages, Gintoki. It's because we spent all these times fooling around with that gorilla getting married in order to conclude the story. We have to trick people to think that this is Prince of Tennis. Like, it's just this shit of just like, god damn it, and Katsura's like, god damn it, we fucked up. We fucked up our ending. Like, it's like, he's slamming down. It's like, what are we gonna do and all that? And it's just like, what are we gonna do, Gintoki, if one of those, like, battles have only just begun endings? I get you and all that. Like, it's like, some final chapter just can't stop us, Takasugi. We'll keep going beyond the end. And then, the final panel. And it's the biggest fuck you, like, that he can do. Our battle starts in Jump Giga, and it ends off with, I knew you couldn't end it. And there is a great little blurb right at the very end to all of you, you out there who's been reading for 14 years of readers. Thank you so much. Please do not anticipate the next work from Sorachi. And it's just like, immediately they're like, this is the end. And they have to explain. Now, I want to talk about this as well, because I mentioned this as well. I didn't go into the full fucking little just memoir that, like, that Sorachi went into, and I want to read it off to you guys as well, for some of you people that didn't actually see this part. But it means a lot to me that, like, he straight up loves the fans, and he loves his series so much. He loves this baby. He has to go into all that. He's like, for everyone, I'm going to read it like verbose on that. For everyone who read Gintama for these 14 long years, thank you so much, and I'm so very sorry. So, with this week, Gintama will no longer be running in Jump, but it's not actually ending it at all. I think a good number of you out there will realize that when we announced that there were 5 chapters left to go, and we were doing a gorilla wedding, going from a gorilla to a conclusion to the story in 5 chapters was impossible, even for a gorilla. So on that note, you see, Jump has a system where you notify the editorial department about 6 months in advance about where you're going to be wrapping things up. And then you have to get everything concluded by that time you gave. But with Gintama, I've been steadying around that for the past 3 years now. I've been saying that I don't think I can wrap up quite yet. There's still one last story I need to put in. I was like, but get your, it's like getting your family together and saying, huh, you know, I may actually not die quite yet, like over and over. And then of course the family starts getting restless, doing stuff like tapping their feet and then clicking their tongues at Grandpa, how and then. So Grandpa says, definitely, I can definitely make it by the end of August. And then takes out a big cigar and starts smoking it like Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 4. But it didn't work out that way. Even if I pack everything really tightly into weekly chapters, this stubborn small boss just wasn't going to kick the bucket. So then we decided with a bigger time frame and a larger number of pages, we would finally be doing an end to Grandpa's life. So for just a little bit, we'll be doing it in a different place. I honestly would have preferred to bring you a story all the way to the end in Jump, so I really have to apologize for screwing that whole thing up. This is goodbye to all of those just again through Gintama chapters in Jump, but even if I'm gone, I hope you continue enjoying yourself reading Jump. Just don't expect to get any inheritance. Those that are sticking around with Grandpa for the long haul, even if you stubbornly keep hanging around me, I'm still not giving you any inheritance. Got that? Why? Because my inheritance is all of you. Let's meet again beyond the final chapter. I fucking read that. And then that was the moment I gave like a chuckle. I was like, and then I stared at the ceiling for like what must have been 15 fucking minutes. I stared and I'm like, this motherfucker. This motherfucker. So that was a thing we talked about in the video, and I'm like, he must have had that, and it's like, so you have to let people know in advance, so it's like, we're wrapping this up. I've got 6 months. So yeah, it's so that they can get someone ready to replace it and, like, you know, keep the system of the business going. And that's kind of what's happened here. And again, it's something where it's like, are you going to end it? And unfortunately, Sorachi just was like, nah, I'm ending it. Don't worry, I'm ending it. I've got it covered. You guys will be fine. I'll be out with your doors. And he's still writing fucking chapters. This is the best scenario that we could have gotten, I would say. Well, I guess the best scenario that we really should have gotten is that it all concluded in Jump and Sorachi just got all the time that he fucking wanted. Again, like, it could have been worse. It could have just ended here. There is still this very weird inkling in my chest that is like, I kind of wish they ended it and he just wasn't goofing around, but this is his baby. And again, he's like, my inheritance is just all of you guys that are stuck around for like all those 14 years. And it's just like, just imagine that you're like, you've been there since chapter 1. I know some people have been there like, oh, I've been there since like the original series, like, and that's crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. But again, I fucking love it. Like, I love this series. There is like the fact that like you think about the journey that these characters have gone through for 14 years. Like, you think about where Gintoki was at the start. You think that he was just a fucking bum, just doing odd jobs here and there. And then he's like, why not? I'm going to pick up this shithead who's just like this samurai that's got nothing better to do. I'm going to pick up this weird alien girl because she's got nothing better to do. Let's just go and do some odd jobs around town. And he ends up building a family. Like, he ends up learning the lies about how others were affected by this war, how this impact, and there was a great, I'm not even going to pretend that this was even me that said this. I've said it in a version, but someone put it really well together on Twitter, where it's like, this is Gintama is a series about people dealing with the aftermath of war and like the conclusion and have nowhere else to go. And finding the smallest glimmers of hope in like the most shittiest of times. Like, I think back to like the one you see how he met the old lady, like how he met Otose. Like, it's like you see like those kind of moments where it's like he met his landlady when he was there stealing food from her fucking dead husband's grave, and it's just like, I made a little deal with him like that as he's munching down on food. He's like, for the food, for the drink, I'll take care of you and all that. It's like this nice little code. You see how Gintoki, and again, this is a thing where it's like, he was fucking suicidal. Like, you can see where he's had moments he's given up on life. Like the shit that he did, he lost his friends, he lost the man that he looked up to all those years. Like he looked up to all of this, and it's like he had nothing, he had no drive, he had no will to keep on going, and yet he somehow just found a way just to keep himself from going insane. And he saw how different people took that kind of news. You look at where kind of path Takasugi went in his life, you see where Katsura went in his life, and it's how everyone else just kind of was dealing with their own versions of their depression. Or you think of Kagura, who lost her mom, who just detached herself from her real family, and she ended up getting bunged together with these bunch of misfits, and Gintoki was a father to her. She considers those both her father, her two fathers, her earth dad and her real dad. Is a great little moment. I love those little moments that they have in this story, where it's even if it's just the little episodic stuff, it's just look at this family, look at this just bunch of weirdos that sometimes can't stand each other, who will fuck with one another, that will try be sometimes some of the worst human beings possible to each other, but when things are in the thick and thin, they ride and die with one another. They love each other. That's fucking family. That's true comrades right there. And it's some of the greatest arcs, fucking Yoshihara and Flames. You think about fucking if we think about that, the Shogun assassination arc, you think about Gintoki versus Takasugi, that fucking anticipation for what, 10 years, that big climactic fight, and how fucking amazing it was, every single. And then he went from serious arc to serious arc to serious arc to serious arc. It's just afterwards, farewell Shinsengumi. It's how many moments have I laughed my ass off to this series? How many times have I laughed, cried, screamed, roared at the fucking screen because of what these people are doing? Whether it be the anime, whether it be the manga, there are few series that I can think about where I get sheer enjoyment from just reading them, or I just have this just great form of entertainment. There are a few. One of the last shonen, and I mean even before the last shonen I kind of got that inkling of just entertainment or just using my noggin for, probably was Magi. That was I would like to say it probably was Magi when that was going on, and when it introduced stuff with time travel. It had the war, it had this economy, it was adding all of this stuff to it, and it, all these layers, and Gintama that had that as well. It's just it was fucking great. And again, I know obviously people are going to address that they've had issues with the final arc, they've had issues with kind of they rehash some of the stuff. That at the end of the day, with how some people are on there, and I'm personally just enjoying the fucking ride of what it is, and whether or not we have gone back to similar themes, we have gone back to other moments, but then it's yeah, this is the ending, but no, fuck you again, we're having it, because regardless of what, you get the two situations where it's oh no, this is the actual ending, oh what the hell, why didn't they show that character? And it's no, we're showing everyone's getting their moment to shine, everyone has this dumb, goofy thing from what they can do as a character, and it's again, he ended it in a way where it's or at least ended it in Jump in a way where it's nah, fuck you. And this is from a man who gave so much of a shit and loves this series so much, that he, either knowing that he had 6 months left to wrap up, he was I'm having too much fun, I fucking love this, yeah sure, why not, I'll have fucking Kondo marry a gorilla, why not, that'll be a chapter, fuck it. And he knew it, he had 5 chapters left, and he's and I bet those fucking head office fucking Jump assholes in suits were Sriracha, you're fucking breaking our balls here. And he's man, fuck it, you guys love me, you wouldn't do anything without me, that. It's just And I know, like, you hear the stories about, like, how just Jump editors love him, and it's like, we're trying to run a business, man. Fuck, can you cut us some slack? And it's like, we promised that we'd give Togashi a fucking slot because he finally finished Dragon Quest, and now he's done his 13 chapters, and then he's gonna fuck off again, as he always does, and he's gonna talk about a fucking boat for about another fucking 4 years, or how long he wants to fucking do it for. Like, again, like, I felt like I've always gotten entertainment from this series, regardless, like, even if, like, again, and I think it's the fact where it's like, I don't have to talk about a chapter, I don't have to, like, review every single chapter of this series, but the fact that it's like, I come out of that and I just have a smile. And you don't get that. Sometimes it's like, oh, I read a chapter. Oh, I guess I better read it. And every time I get time, it's like, man, I had fun with that. I want to watch that episode again. I want to see that part again. You think about, like, the music. You think about the voice acting. You think about manga panels. You think about just how much Sunrise give a shit with some of this animation, like, here and there. And I know, like, some of the latest episodes, they've been, like, they've been missing some of the panels here and there. And I think, like, definitely is, like, they are just fucking stretched thin at the moment because, like, they work for a lot of other studios, and it's like, definitely, I think, like, with the last couple of seasons of the anime, it feels way, or at least I would say even since Farewell Shinsengumi, it feels more like they've just been doing, this series is just kept on from the love of its fans and, like, as well of the studio, and even knowing that they haven't got as much as the, I would like to say, like, the animation, the animes that they used to, and also as well the budget, I would say, like, because at the end of the day, I still, man, like, we're on, like, what, the 8th, 9th season of the series, like, at this point, like, we're gonna go into the 10th, because you know that they're gonna be crazy bastards, whether or not they do it in an OVA format, and it's gonna be interesting that, like, how they end the actual anime as well, now that this is happening. It's definitely very interesting in, like, my eyes that this is how they're gonna do it. And then they had to be like, fuck, we're coming back again, the one last hurrah, I guess. I find that interesting to me. Like, definitely how they're going to handle that. And it interests me that, like, he talks about, like, the chapters, and he's like, now I haven't got the restriction of the weekly one, I can start doing some shit with, like, having these massive chapters on, like, Jump Giga. So, I'm very, very excited for, like, how he's actually going to wrap up this arc, and how he's going to wrap up the series in general, because obviously we still got things left answered. But I think if Sorachi really wanted to, he could have just been like, fuck it, there's the ending, there you go, Panzer on, the problem just solved itself. Like, he could have just did that, like, and years later, this is what happened. He's like, no, I want to just continue it. I don't give a shit. I love this series no matter what. That's kind of like how Sorachi came from it. And you know what? That's how a lot of the fucking fans came out of it as well. Like, yeah, it is without a doubt my favorite Shonen Jump series. And I remember when I first talked about its announcement ending, I remember that, and I was like, and this was, like, kind of before when we first heard about this, when, like, My Hero, Black Clover were very early on. And now you think about that as well, when you think about all these brand new series, and think about that I don't even count Hunter x Hunter being, like, now the oldest series in that magazine, because it's not fucking weekly. The guy just does 13 chapters and then fucks off for, like, 2 years. Like, I know I've been very aggressive with, like, fucking Togashi, but, like, again, like, think about that Haikyuu is now the oldest series in Shonen Jump that is weekly. Fucking think about that. That is, without a doubt, horrifying in my eyes. That is, like, very weird to see how far we've come since then. Look at, like, what's in the magazine now. Like, you think Haikyuu's, like, what, 300 chapters? My Hero's, like, maybe 200. Black Clover's, like, 173, I think. And then you got Yaiba, that's 120 odd. Like, you think about all the brand new, fresh stuff that's coming into there. One Piece is still fucking hanging in there, like, without a doubt. Like, I mean, obviously One Piece is still the eldest, without a doubt, in the series, but like, without counting One Piece, Haikyuu is the fucking, like, the last, like, one. I think after that it's Soma? Yeah, it's after Gintama, like, after ending it, obviously it's One Piece, then it's Haikyuu, and then I think it's Shokugeki no Soma, and that is weird to me. That baffles me without, like, a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, no, I love the Gintama fans. Like, every time I go on Twitter and I just see some of the boys, like, tune it up, like, I absolutely adore it. Like, whenever I see some of the Gintama fans and my boys going on there talking about some of the shit where, like, yo, I'm watching this again, or like, I'm in the car listening to fucking Gintama openings, where I'm like, let's go, I'll open my mind, let's go, sweet dreams of the sun. Like, I hear that, or, you know, yes I know, no, boku no wa. Like, I hear that, of course. Like, again, like, I think opening 13 is my favorite fucking song, period. Like, I fucking love that anime opening. Like, it's my favorite anime opening. It is. When I go back to that opening and I think about what is, without a doubt, captures a lot of, like, what I love about that series, and it's like just that moment of Gintoki running away from his past, and then his past self being pushed back into the present. Like, there's just so much great ass fucking symbolism in this series. Like, stuff that, like, a lot of shit that not even just in Jump, but in just most shonen in general is like. And again, like, this series has been very dark sometimes with some of the stuff. Like, it handled shit with courts, like, with prostitutes and shit like that, with guys who were murderers, guys that were who survived wars and stuff, like, and they handled that in a fucking kids magazine. Like, that is nuts to me. It's like, again, like, the series, especially from the start, is weird to see where it grew from there. Like, I love those early stuff and all that, but I will admit that this series got so much better in time. And again, it is a shame that this series, like, I'm happy that it grew and it gained the audience, but that it's never going to be as big. It never was going to be as big as One Piece. It was never gonna blow up like My Hero did, because again, like, Gintama shoots itself in its in the own foot. Like, Sorachi's like, fuck it, he's juggling around some revolvers and then just shoots himself in the foot, and he's like, that's what happened. Like, he does that because the series is just too Japanese for its own good. That's why, and again, that's why it failed over here in the West. Like, that's why, like, they stopped publishing the manga over here. That's why, like, shit like that happens, and it's like, again, like, this is just a series where it's like, I fucking love it. I fucking love this series. It's so goddamn good. And I hope that even with the small, like, nothing has made me, at least when I've been reviewing, or at least when I've been just doing videos, or just Twitter, or whatever social media that I'm done, or like, whether I'm just talking to friends on Skype or on Discord, and that joy where I'm like, I got someone to watch these episodes or check out some of these chapters, or like how much I got, like, pretty much at gunpoint got people saying, you need to see that second movie. That second movie is fucking amazing. It is so goddamn good. Like, that warms my heart. It's like, so much, and it's like, again, you see how many people love it. Like, you see the live action, you see the first original movie, the recap and all that. Like, you see Forever Yours, you see the anime series. Like, it's all so goddamn good. And you think about the supporting cast and the, like, you think about all the characters that we've had: Sarutobi, Zenzo, like Tsukiyo, like Shinpachi's sister. Like, we think, like, Kondo, Soko, Hijikata, Nobume, like the fucking alien motherfuckers you think about when they say, like, even like old villains in there, like Jochiro used to be and all that. And you think of like Shinpachi's like brother, like his brother, like his original like brotherly figure and all that. You think of Kamui, you think of Takasugi, you think of that, all the Joey Rebels, like, you think of, like, all these guys, like, that have been a part of this series, this one just big, massive, like, fucking family of people that you've had and you've, like, dealt with, and, like, all these kooky weirdos like Tama and, like, going through there, and it's like, Matt, and again, it's like, we're not gonna get everything that we, like, wish for. Like, again, I'm a crazy nut when it comes to pairings, and it's like, I want Gintoki, and I want him to have, like, like, my idea is, like, he's teaching some students on there, and he's, like, giving them the lessons like Shoyo used to do back in the day, and he's there, like, smoking a pipe, he's just enjoying himself, maybe he's talking to Katsura, or, like, or in Shinpachi or Kagura, and he's like, man, this is a good life, and he's still complaining, and he's like, alright kids, like, remember to, your homework for today is let me know what you thought about the ending of this series, like, on Shonen Jump, like that. It's like, he's there just dicking around, like, and then it's like, really Gintoki, you're supposed to be teaching these kids, like, man, fuck it, they need to learn about, you learn shit from Shonen Jump. Gintoki be one of those dudes, where it's like, you learn shit from reading Shonen Jump, go and do that, like. And again, like, maybe he goes home and maybe, I don't know, his wife might be Sukiya or some shit like that. That, like, because, again, like, that's the perfect girl for him. Like, Sukiyo is the perfect match for him. I know there are people that want Saratobi. I know they want that shit's tied down with, like, fucking Kondo. Kondo straight up on that. Like, he loves that girl too much. I know some people trying to push that on there. Series is fucking great. Like, just thinking about it, like, again, like, we're gonna get fucking mushy here, and you know how that always feels, like, getting the tears and the crying and all that shit. Again, Gintama, like, came to me in that right part of my life where, again, soppy shit, so get ready for it, where it was probably the lowest part of my life, I would say, where it's like, and everyone's gone around it, and I'm not even ever gonna consider that I'm a fucking special snowflake area. Like, people go through way harsh as shit in life. Like, life is a real bad place to be when you're in a very dark state of mind, and I was in a huge state of depression at that point, and you think thoughts that normal human beings shouldn't think about how much you value yourself as a person, how much you, like, truly, like, care about, like, surroundings. You're like, man, no one's gonna fuck, no one's gonna fucking miss me, shit like that. And again, one of the things that always brightens my life is comedy, and I was like, man, let me just watch something to fucking laugh, fuck it, I'll be like, I saw, like, a bunch of openings to Gintama, I saw a bunch of AMVs, I'm like, this looks fun, sure, why not, let me just fucking, I remember it was like summer or something, in 2011, and I was like, man, fucking college just finished up, I'm gonna just binge Gintama, and I'm gonna binge Detective Conan. Those were the two things I remember spending a good chunk of my summer on, and I think something else. I was playing some fucking MMO or something with some friends at that point as well on there, and at that point as well, I know I was playing a shit ton of fighting games with them at that point as well. Fuck, was it I think it was Tekken Tag 2 or something like that. I think it was like one of those, but I read that and I'm like, you know, this is funny. This is why I need to cheer myself up right now. Like, and then you start learning more about these characters, and you start learning about, like, oh, a lot of these people go through a lot of shit, like, and you see how, like, in Toki's kind of his philosophy in life, and, like, he's using his failings, and he's using all the shit that he's gotten since then, where he's like, and it's interesting where it's like, this is the, like, a grown-ass man talking to you. This sounds like a man that's gone through shit, and now he's telling the younger generation, or, like, people that have been in a similar rump like him, like Sukiyo, or, like, you think of, like, Saratobi, or, like, Zenzo, or any of these guys, and, like, he tries to explain where his point of life, where it's like, I had fucking nothing, and someone gave me that light. Like, I was just a fucking war orphan going around in, like, battlefields just grabbing whatever I could. Like, I was just a fucking broken little weapon, and Shoyo found me. He taught me his way of life. He taught me to be a human. Like, and it's weird, like, a demon that taught someone to be a human, and, like, Shoyo was hoping to find that in himself as well, where it's like, maybe if I just take this fucked up little kid, maybe I might be able to hold that part of me in me, that weird little split personality that was able just to break free. And, like, then you see Gintoki explain that, and then when that all starts tumbling down, this idea of the man that he's been looking up to for like 20 years or something, like 2 decades, and that hits him like a fucking hard rock thrown at his face, and he's like, my ideas have been fucking crushed in front of me. And he has that quick realization of, like, people screaming in his face, like, we're still here. We're here because of you, Gintoki. Not because of this man. Just, you gotta just fucking blank that out right now. And it's like, his journey to be, like, kind of accepting his past and accepting his responsibilities with it, and, like, knows he has to conclude things with Taikatsu. He knows where that is, like, with all this, like, how this affects everyone. Like, and it's so goddamn good. I fucking love it. I told you guys this would be long. I just looked at the camera right now and I'm like, man, fucking Christ, Matt. Can you can't just say in like a 10-minute video about why it is, and obviously people are gonna go into more deeper things, and construct it so much better than you fairly fucking could. But then again, I don't give a fuck. like in a way, I give a fuck and I don't. It's like, I don't give a fuck that this takes this long, and fucking kudos to any of you guys that survived this fucking long. Fucking kudos. Because I know some people just, man, just skip ahead. Yeah. Again, all mushy. Come on now. It's not even the fucking ending. Come on. Yeah, no, I fucking love Gintama. I always will, and I'll even though, like, the man who created it will never know, he really helped me in a fucking rut in my life. And I'd like to say that at least my sarcasm, a lot of it, I get it from this series, where it's like, ah, fuck it, who cares? Or like, oh, sure, yeah, everything will be alright, yeah, you fucking gorilla, like that. It's just, man, fuck you, Sriracha, and also as well, I love you, man. Just full on, just fucking respect for the man. Yeah, no, that's it. That's pretty much what I had to think about the ending. Well, this ending. It's coming back, and I'm going to talk about those chapters, probably. And I'll probably talk about the last episode of the anime as well. I'm very curious to see how they handle that as well. But it's another goodbye to say hello again. And we'll be having this conversation again when the series actually fucking ends this time. So, yeah. I want to see what you guys think in the comment section down below, if there's some of you guys that have stick through to the end. And I apologize that this is a fucking 43-minute long video. But, yeah. I fucking love you, Gintama. Always will. I fucking love you, Gintoki. You're amazing. You're the best fucking Shonen Jump character out there. Like, you're a fucking grown-ass man, and you say some deep, philosophical shit. So, true love to that. Best series in Shonen Jump. Fucking period. Just saying it. Like that. It's done. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys, though, next time.